my book talk is about The Sirens of Titan by Kurt Vonnegut with the genre of science fiction. The Sirens of Titan was written in 1959. This story was way before its time, with a talk about quantum physics when it was in its infancy. Books Kurt Vonnegut has also written have been Cat's Cradle, Slapstick, Player Piano, and many more, including his most famous novel, Slaughterhouse-Five. The book starts off on Earth in the near future, then later changes to Mars, Mercury, then on to Saturn's moon, Titan. The main character in this story is the wealthiest man on Earth, Malachi Constant, a young and arrogant businessman who inherited his money from his father. The conflict was mainly Constant fighting his own fate, foretold to him by Winston Niles Rumford, a man who got caught in a cosmic incident while en route to Mars, making him able to appear instantly in many places. When Rumford materialized on Earth, he called upon his wife, Beatrice, and Malachi Constant. He told him that they were destined to have a son together named Chrono. Rumford then told Malachi that he was going to these places in order: Mars, Earth, Mercury, then his final resting place, Titan. At first, Constant was in denial. Rumford then told him about how Titan was the absolute paradise. Rumford then showed him a picture of these 3 Titan women, that they were the most gorgeous women Constant has ever seen, making the reaction to Rumford's predictions as more enticing, but he was still dismissive of these claims. Later, Constant found out he had lost all of his money to bad business practices. He goes to drink away his worries at a bar. While he was there, 2 people approached him presenting the idea of going to Mars. They told him that he'd be an officer of the troops in the Mars army. At the same time, Beatrice has to sell her estate. She unknowingly sells her home to the same people, or Martians, that Malachi was involved with. They later trick Beatrice into the flying saucer. Both Beatrice and Constance were unaware of each other on board. Malachi later hears that one of the beautiful Sirens of Titan were in the dark room Beatrice was staying in. Malachi later snuck in during the night and had non-consensual sex with her. When Constant arrived onto Mars, his memory was erased. He was also fitted with an antenna in his head that sent him a jolt of pain whenever he did anything undesirable by the leader of the Martian troops, named Boaz. Boaz had ordered and controlled Constant to execute another soldier. The soldier had remembered Constant as a friend and pleaded. Constant did the deed anyways. During this time, Rumford plans a suicidal Martian attack on Earth, sending every Martian to fight the humans. The invasion was orchestrated by Rumford. He had pushed the invasion to such an extent to make humans shameful of the slaughter that they had done, and to later reunite Beatrice and Constant. Chrono and Beatrice were in the last wave of Martians to invade Earth. Rumford later sends Malachi and Boaz to Earth. They had survived the invasion due to the fact that their ship was programmed to go right to Mercury. During this time, Rumford materializes on Earth to spread the word of his new religion. This religion Rumford had made up had revolved around the fact that luck is unpredictable, thus making Malachi as an example of what not to do. Having Constance and Boaz's ship programmed to Mercury let Rumford spread his religion. When Constant and Boaz arrived, they were confused by the fact that the planet was vacant. For 3 years, they stayed in the caves of Mercury. Boaz became the caretaker of the creatures that inhabit the caves. They feed off vibrations, so Boaz lets them feed off his pulse by sticking the kite-shaped orange creatures onto him. Constant then hacks the ship's computer. With the ship now fixed, Constant tries to get Boaz to go back to Earth with him. Boaz says no, and that he was content with the life he was living with the inhabitants of the cave. Constant decides it's no use and flies back to Earth. When Constant gets there, Beatrice and Chrono are found selling trinkets outside the estate to the religious followers. Rumford materializes. He proceeds to call out Malachi. He tells his followers that Constance is an example of mankind's arrogance and waste of potential and resources. Rumford begins to remind Constance of the execution of his friend. Constant feels shameful as the crowd shuns him. He is asked to climb upon a spaceship to Titan as punishment. Beatrice and Constance aboard the spaceship, feeling worthy of this punishment. Then on Titan, they're met with an even bigger issue. The mood of this novel is more exciting with twists and turns of remorse and adventure. The theme of the novel is free will. How we all think we have free will, but in reality we don't all completely control our own destiny. I like this book because usually when I read something I never finish reading it, but this book was really engaging. It's one of the few books I've actually finished in the past year. Some memorable quote that I had found that stuck with me has been, "What's paradise like?" said Constant. Everybody's happy there forever, said Stony. Or as long as the bloody universe holds together. Get in, Unc. Beatrice is already there, waiting for you. This really sticks with me because of the realization at the end. I recommend this book to anyone who likes to crack open a hard read that makes you think. Everything in this book all comes into play one way or another, which makes the end very satisfying. You should go out and buy this book because it was one of the best books I've read in a while, despite how crazy it may sound. It is written in a witty way. It's overall just a really good, engaging read that makes reading a little less painful. The end.